Thank you all so much. Can we give Amy a big round of applause for her leadership? So I'm looking out, and right there I see a t-shirt that says, Oy vey, which kind of captures the moment we're living in. And the response to Oy vey is we have to stay focused. We have to separate the signal from all the noise. We have to stay vigilant, and we have to stay hopeful. When it comes to defending freedom and opportunity for all, that's the Democratic Party credo. When it comes to honoring e pluribus unum, out of many we are one, that's the American ethos. Right now, these values are on the line. In the last few weeks, on the first day that our president took office, he tried to override the Constitution to end birthright citizenship. I went to court, and we have won. And a judge called this, in 40 years, this is a Reagan appointee, the most unconstitutional thing he'd ever seen. And then they thought it might be a good idea for the executive branch unilaterally to stop funding programs that support survivors of domestic violence, drug interdiction, those who depend on Meals on Wheels, road construction, and more, taking away Congress's power and seeking to undermine the will of the people. And we went to court again, and we won again. And then comes the department, I should say the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, or DOGE. Dodgy. It was dodgy. Because people who had never been cleared to work, who hadn't done security training, were getting access to our most sensitive and confidential information to undermine programs authorized by Congress. We went to court, and last night we have another victory. In our office, we are ready for this moment, and the moment is one that will determine whether we remain a republic. Our founders, as Ben Franklin famously said after he left the Constitutional Convention, he was asked, what type of government do we have? Everyone knows the answer, right? A republic, as long as you can keep it, which is not a hypothetical question right now. Whether or not we have a government of laws is on the table. Whether or not we have the rule of law versus the rule of whim is on the table. And I'll tell you, I believe in the United States of America. I believe in a government, as Lincoln once put it, say this with me, of the people, by the people, and for the people. And as Attorney General, I've been the people's lawyer, which is why I showed up here in Longmont to hear from you about a merger between King Soopers and Safeway. Another coup. Appropriately so. That's what I heard. For the first time ever in Colorado history, we went to state court to stop our merger, and we stopped it. But more than that, as we investigated, we found out during the last strike, King Soopers agreed with Safeway not to compete for workers, to suppress their wages. So we're in court on that too. And as now we have another strike, I stand with workers for fair wages, fair working conditions. And here in Boulder, I got to work with your DA when it came to 4-star realty, who thought it might be an okay thing to tell vulnerable students, you're not getting your security deposit back. Or we're going to charge you a made-up, undisclosed moving out fee. We say, hell no, we're getting $1 million back from consumers. A government government fights for people stands up for protecting our land, air, and water, which is so precious. I'm at the Supreme Court to stop a train that would go right along the Colorado River in Glenwood Canyon, threatening huge oil spills and harms, along with Senator Benn and others, and we're going to make sure that doesn't happen. And as we manage our water, we're also going to make sure that communities like the San Luis Valley don't get stuck with a buy-and-dry scheme to move that water to the Front Range and destroy a vulnerable community. And finally, speaking about people who are hurting, I am terrified about the state of young people. Young people are spending 5 hours or more on their smartphones going down dark holes, like Anna shot dead. Anna's no longer with us. She died by suicide. And her mom, Lori, found that phone and found what she was seeing on Instagram and said, this is wrong. We have to do something. I'm now suing Meta to change how they behave. And I want to be your governor because I believe in freedom and opportunity for all. I believe in protecting our land, air, and water. I believe that we in Colorado, a centennial state, can show our nation what a just republic looks like. And that together we will meet these challenges and we will build a better future, the one that I learned from my grandmother, who lived through very dark times. She survived the Holocaust and gave birth to my mom in a concentration camp. They were liberated 1 week later by the U.S. Army. And they came to the United States of America. And in my family, the difference between my working for Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Barack Obama, and as your Attorney General, and my mom being born in a concentration camp is one generation. That's the America we're fighting for. So do not give up hope. Do not lose your focus. And please stay engaged and stay vigilant. We have important work to do here in Colorado. I thank you all so much for doing it. Thank you.